Okay, so now that we have our application created over here, it's time to start testing it. So let's do a couple of things here. Number one, I want to move up here where I can see all of my curl commands. And number two, I've started SBT over here, but I need to start it running. And while that's doing that, I want to show you that the build file is the same as it has been for all of the examples that I have created. So we have the run fork is true here. These are all the dependencies I need, not just for this example, but for all of the examples that I'm creating. And you can see that the main class here is HTTP 110 and then the basic REST API with separate route definitions. And that's what this is right here. It's HTTP 110 right there. And basic REST API with the separate route definitions. So given all of that, looks like we have this running over here. So this is SBT running my ZIO HTTP server application over here. And then I'm going to run the curl commands down here as usual. So one of the things I can do right away is just go ahead and run one like this and say, let's go ahead and get a list of all the to-dos in our application. And you can see we get a 204 no content, which is what we wanted to do. And that one was calling this list to-dos routes function. And that's where we have the status no content right there. So now that we have that, let's go ahead and create a couple of entries. So this is a curl command. And we're going to do a post to the to-dos path right there. And you can see this other syntax here is what's required for the curl command to do a post. So I'm setting the content type to application JSON right there. And then the -D option is letting me post this JSON content right here. So the ID is going to be 1. The task value is going to be learn ZIO, and then completed will be false. And that corresponds to these elements right here, the ID, the task, and the completed status right here in my to-do case class. So scrolling back up here, let's go ahead and copy that and paste that over here. And that should be good. Let's go ahead and test it. Let's go ahead and get all of our to-dos. And now you see we have a 200 OK, and then we have the content right there. So that's the first to-do item. And this will be the second one. The post is exactly the same. The content type is exactly the same. Now we have the ID of 2. The task is learn ZIO HTTP, which is what we're doing right now. And completed is also false initially. So let's go ahead and copy that. Paste that over here. That looks good. And we'll get those list of to-do elements there. And now you can see that we have 2 of these, one with ID 1, one with ID 2, which is exactly what I wanted. So now we can see that these 2 work just fine. You saw that this one and this one are working just fine. That's what I'm calling right there. And let's see, this one is get one element at a time. So let's get that first element. Make sure that works. That does. Get the second element. What happens if we try to get the third? And we'll have that, and that's where we need to see the -I right there so we can see what's happening a little bit better. And there we have no content right there. And as I put in the comment here, note the return code. So that is the return code, no content. And then the only other thing to look at with our REST API is deleting an element. So I'm going to copy this right here. Actually, let me not do that. I'm trying to remember why I was using -V here instead of -I. Let me start with -I right there. So what I want to do is delete an element that doesn't exist. So something like that. Let's see what happens there. Perfect. So our server side is working just fine. That's 404 not found. So if we go down to the delete route right here, you can see I'm calling delete to do by ID, which is this function that I talked about earlier. And then we're coming back up here. So after that function call right there, we're doing map. We're going to come down to false, right? Because we did not delete anything with this crazy ID over here. So we should come to false. And we're going to get a status of not found, which is that right there. And then the body will be this to do with ID blah not found. And that's to do with the ID blah was not found right there. So that's working perfectly. That's all great. So let's come back up here. And now let's actually delete one that we do have. And that'll be number 1. And that looks good. And here that worked. And this is where I was mentioning the 204 no content. This is a standard way of replying when something like a delete operation does work. So that is exactly what I was expecting. Now what I want to do is go back here and take a look at that. So we just deleted item number 1 here. So now when we say give me a list of all the to-do items, the only thing left is number 2, which is exactly what I expected. So that covers all of the REST API. Let me take a look over here and see if there's anything else I wanted to discuss. We have the to-do class. We have our mock database right there. I do want to mention that if you're thinking this isn't real world enough yet, we're going to take this to another level in the next video. And then we have all of our routes. We have the to-dos routes. We have get a single to-do route. Did I show that one yet? In case I didn't show that one, let's try to get number 1, see what happens. So that's a no content, which is what I expected. Now we'll get number 2, and we do get what we wanted. So if I didn't show that before, I just showed that one there. I did show the create the to-do routes, and I showed delete a to-do route. So I believe that shows everything over here that I wanted to show. So in summary, if you wanted to see a small example of a REST API written with ZIO HTTP, I hope this example is helpful.